I got rope. I got a rope, but I'm not sure if it's protected.
This is how the tree looks today. As you can see, the split's gotten bigger, so obviously the tree is on its way down. I mentioned this to my landlord, and nobody seems to know where this chain came from, so I'm assuming the landlord put it up there as a temporary measure, but we're going to be dealing with this today. But before we get to it, I'm going to be diagnosing the monster, see if I can figure out what the problem is. Based on what was happening, my original suspicion is the brake, so that's what I'm going to be looking at first. First thing I'm going to do is test the switch to make sure it's working okay. And if you look close, you can see that the tire looks like it's kind of sunk in the middle. It's flat. I'm assuming that's from driving on the side of the road after it broke down. Here's a better look at that leaking bearing I was talking about before. The degrease liquefying and coming out the bearings. And here you can actually see it drip. So another thing in the back of my mind, the problem might be a broken gear inside. Maybe lack of lubrication or something. But that's another thing that I'm considering. So what I'm going to do to test the switch is I'm going to hook a switch across the terminals to connect the two terminals together, and I'm going to use a fuse just in case there's a problem. And what that will do is, whether the switch is on or off, the terminals will always be connected together. And I'm going to put the lever into manual mode, and that shouldn't make any difference. I shouldn't get any errors, because as far as the controller will see, the lever is still in the drive position. So that's the first thing I'm going to test. So that should be connected. Let's see what happens. Alright, manual mode with no error. Brake is still dragging. Dang. I'm going to explain what's happening here if you don't own a mobility scooter, or if you do and I'm not really sure how they work. The brake is attached to the end of the motor. The motor shaft actually sticks out a little bit, and the brake engages with it. And what happens is when you put it in, when you slide the lever to manual mode, what it does is it releases the brake from the motor, so you can actually push the machine without it being powered. So I bypass the switch, and the only thing that does is tell the controller whether, or what position the lever's in, whether it's in drive mode or in manual mode. But by powering the monster with it in manual mode, the switch, with the fuse on the switch, the controller sees it as still being in drive mode, but with it in manual mode, the brake should be released from the motor. And if it is a brake issue, then the motor should be spinning freely at this point. But I'm still thinking in my mind that the issues with the brake, just based on the symptoms. But if it's not releasing from the motor, then that is not a good thing. That means the brake's totally shot. But if it is releasing, then it's something else other than the brake.
A wire just came out of the terminal. I'm hoping that's where the problem was. If it's that simple, if it was that simple, I will be very happy. Detected. Maybe. It got hot apparently. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 of these on just to share the current. Whoops. Because the tip of the red one there is a little bit melted. I think I might have just did that. The crow just scared me. Okay, that's on there. Power's off, yes it is. That there. And that there. Actually, nothing is touching anything else. We're in drive mode. Let's see what happens. No error. Did not fix the problem. So apparently it's not going to be that simple unless these weren't making contact. Well, they had to be making contact, otherwise I would have got an error code. Drive mode. Okay, so now what I want to do is measure the voltage. And actually make contact temporarily. Seems to be. What kind of reading I get here, if any. I'm getting no volts. It's not in error mode. I need somebody else here to help me. I need 3 hands again. Okay, so I'm gonna double up on this one. So far it's still making contact. Okay, over here. There's not any wires. Well, that's interesting. I have this one hooked up to the scooter, and as soon as I touch this one with my finger, I get a voltage reading. 2.3 volts, that's just interesting. Now, get that. Anyways, okay. Do this. Alright, throttle. Getting full voltage. So if there is a loose wire, it's after this point. Power back off. That's disappointing. I can see the grease dripping over here. I gotta ask about that. Because the grease nipple on the other side is not the standard size. I cannot get the grease gun onto it. Oh, for crying out loud. At this point, I have no idea what's wrong. I'm just running the motor that long. The motor is actually warmer than the brake. I was not expecting that. Okay, so I need to check these brushes.
So just running that short period of time, the motor's heated up pretty good. And at this point the motor is actually warmer than the brake itself. So if the brake is actually dragging, in theory you would think it would be hotter than the motor. So I'm going to take a look at the motor's brushes and see how they look.
Just don't want to drop anything down inside. And I have a whole new problem. Looks good to me. It's a little shorter than the last time I saw it, but it's still good. As far as I can tell. Yep. This is one specific one. Leverage on it, and I'm not damaging the inside corners. That don't look good. It's definitely overheated. It's quite warm, but still looks okay to me. Can't see what I'm doing here. Can't see. Where not staying. probably got warped out of shape. Warped out of shape from being overheated, I bet you, I bet you. Give the shop a call, see what he says.
So in conclusion, the brake switch itself is fine. It's getting full voltage and the wiring to it is adequate. Powering the monster with it in manual mode should release the brake from the motor. With it released, the problem is persisting. So if there's an issue with the brake and it's not actually disengaging, then the brake unit is shut. If it is disengaging, then the problem is elsewhere. I checked all 4 of the motor's brushes. They look good. They've been overheated, apparently, because they've got the rainbow color on them. And when I took the caps off the bottom of the motor, they had black powder in them, which is normal because when the brushes wear down, this dust builds up inside the motor. It's got to be blown out every once in a while. So at the moment I see that as normal. Overheating I blame on this problem, trying to get the monster home and just running it with the brake dragging, if that's what the problem is going to overheat. So far the problem, whatever it is still eluding me. I put the monster away for now. I don't want to deal with it anymore today. So now we have our tree emergency to deal with. And I decided to set up a camera outside the back window just in case. Now I'd like to point out that we are not professional tree removers. We do what we can with what we have. I used my phone to record a second angle. I put it on the window ledge so I wouldn't have to hold it. And I realized it was pointing up so high.
That happens a lot. I was freaking driving the ball. Make sure it doesn't happen to me when I got a chainsaw on the ladder. I was like, oh, fuck! Oh, we're driving flat. But then we got right out in 4. Driving off the boat. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, it's a too old boat. No? We got a roll?
What we're doing here is we're taking it down in sections, and we're working on this one that's overhanging the neighbor's house, and we're trying to figure out, before we cut all the way through, how to get it away so it doesn't actually fall on the house when it comes down. And nobody really had any rope. I had some, the stuff I have, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's really stretchy and I'm really sure. But up to this point, nobody's really asked for it.
Come on, Patrick, you're slower than can be too. just falling out of the roof.
Which one is she?
It's this one.
Not that one. It's this one here we gotta grab. Watch out!
Yeah.
Yeah, stand right under it.
Yeah, that's good. Boy.
Yeah!
Yeah, and you're standing
Right under it.
Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, don't worry about it.
I'm under the tree.
What?
Holy.
You guys are ripping the wrong way.
Yeah.
Careful, Terry.
I got the ladder. As much as I can grab it.
Watch out! Coming down!
Get a swimming pool so we can
Oh,
jump
one
off the roof into the swimming pool. That'd be
Maybe I
funny.
need to cut it a little more.
Mom.
I think so.
Alright.
Mom.
Oh no, she's bending! She's bending!
Timber!
She's bending! Keep bending!
Try to grab on here, buddy. Grab on.
Come on! Oh, she's stretching. She's flexing. Oh, there we go.
No, cut her some more.
Alright. I'll cut her. Oh, shit.
Patty, you have to put it out for another hit.
We have,
You don't want to
power we
be
got
up
there.
Hey. Oh, stand on it.
Huh?
You might be able to get her.
We'll let him get off the ladder first.
That's what I always worry
You
about.
can't. You can't do it.
Coming up.
Nope, you can't.
Mikhail!
Oh,
Get that
hurry.
hurry.
Jump off the top of the water. Where's Michael? Right here. Okay, make some space. Look, there's stinking.
Alright, give her shit.
Charlene, she's sick.
That's who Charlene's the woman. She's blowing out space.
Maybe that one.
Guys, it's full. You're beautiful.
No, that's
Okay, do we got a rope? No.
I got a rope.
Look what? Look what's stinking. What's stinking?
I got a rope, but I'm not
Okay,
sure if it's
there's right
stretchy
now,
or
like
not.
right under there on the ladder.
Timber!
Yeah.
See, that's how you do it. You gotta put your weight into it.
Here, let me go up with the brake.
Oh, you got the boat? Oh my god.
There you go, we're good.
Okay, let's do it again. I want some more camera angles.
Unless I was standing in front of it.
I wish the phone had been pointed downwards. You'd see why everybody was laughing.
Okay, hold
He
on.
landed on his back and his feet went up in the air, and when the tree came down is where his legs would have been. He was pretty lucky. He got scratched up a little bit by the branches, but other than that, I think the only thing that was really hurt was his pride.
Good.
Like,
Somebody's got a rope.
yeah.
Got some weight I can throw on the end of the rope too.
I got a piston.
Michael, did that get you?
That works.
No, it's a diesel piston.
No, it only has for it.
As long as it's got a hole that it'll stay secure.
Yep, all those hours.
Like, Patrick,
Yeah.
Patrick, when the one landed on me, it was like that big.
Okay, I need to get off the
You
roof.
see that one?
Hey, Cheyenne.
What?
Get him
Giant.
home.
Yes.
He just tried killing himself. Sam.
Michael.
Right under the tree he was.
Tree
Crushed him.
branch. Pull straight down.
No, well, yeah, he pulled straight down right under it.
What are you guys doing?
Wes,
Let
go in
it
the video.
shit.
Still recording.
What?
What?